up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go, a podcast about life in the music industry. I'm your host, Patrick Tarnowski, and returning with me is my man, Gibby, Super Gibby. I got your solo episode came out this week, and I was like, it's proud of him. It's proud of that guy. It's come so far.
I will say I listened to it today at work and it was such an awkward episode. I was like, wow, this sucks.
That's
Why
fair.
is anyone listening to this?
Oh my gosh, it wasn't so bad. But today we've got Grayson and Oscar from the Wisconsin band Archers on the show. Friends, welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank
Hey,
you for
what's
having
up?
me.
So
Up,
the
guys?
first time I even heard Archers was honestly because of my buddy Jordan, who's brothers with your vocalist.
Oh, there we go. Oh yeah.
He was working. He still does stuff with Unsigned Pop Punk, but he was the first original host of the Where Did All My Friends Go podcast with me. So he was the one that introduced me to y'all.
Oh yeah. That's sick.
And I love to see the growth you guys have had since then. That was a few years ago now at this point.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy couple years, but I feel like they're about to get a bit crazier. So we just
Well,
gotta
let's.
yes.
I hope so, because the first thing we're going to talk about is your new EP that's coming out, All That I Have Left, which is releasing on May 10th, featuring the singles Drag Me Out, Say the Sober, Smiling Out of Habit, and Bitter. How's the response been for the new music so far?
I was gonna let you take it, but I'll take it, I guess.
Oh,
It's been great.
anybody. I'll tell you. Okay, so everybody's fucking loved this, right?
Yeah, I mean it's been sick. Drag Me Out's doing really well. People are really liking it. It's kind of it's coming for Bitter's throat a bit as far as streaming goes and popularity, and it
Yeah.
kind of wants that #1 spot on Spotify, which is really cool. But really, there's not really been anybody complaining about any of them that we've seen.
Well,
I'm
that's
sure
good.
there have been, but yeah, I mean it's been great.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. So, of this EP so far, tell us a little bit about the making of it.
Yeah, so we work with Nick Matskows and John Eberhard in Grand Rapids, and it's kind of funny because everybody, when they see a body of work, they kind of think that it was all made at the same time, and this could not be farther from that case. Bitter has been around since early 2022, and then Say the Sober's been around a long time. Smiling Out of Habit had like 9 million versions before we settled on the one that you hear. But Drag Me Out and then the last track to be released, Before You Go, are, I guess, the two newest. So it was cool. Working with those guys is always a blast. The process behind Drag Me Out and Before You Go especially were really fun, and just kind of how creative we got to be with John, and yeah, it was super fun.
Right on. So, Smiling Out of Habit. So that song had a whole bunch of different iterations.
Yeah.
Was that? What were you saying?
I think as far as finished versions go, there were 3 or 4. It
Okay.
started as one song and
Minimum.
then changed into another and then changed into another, and then we had the final version. But for a song that was kind of a bit out there originally, I like where it ended up at, and I think it's pretty cool. It's a nice little turning point on the record for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think so far all of the singles, and including the one that y'all haven't heard yet, I've heard it, and it's sick. And I'm
Hell yeah,
super
thank you.
stoked for everyone to be able to hear this EP in full.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that last song's a sleeper, I think. So I'm stoked for people to hear it.
Yeah, I
Totally.
mean, Bitter and Drag Me Out are definitely like the big, quote unquote, the big heavies
Yeah.
on the CP. But Before You Go, that's gonna be honestly like one of my favorites that we've done to date. Drag Me Out was really cool, like having everybody, like that song came together because we were all working on it every step of the way. Everything was like all of us thinking at it at one point or another. Usually Pulley writes
Okay.
the majority of the lyrics, majority of the melodies, and like everything like that. With Drag Me Out, it was very much just like a puzzle piece. It's like everybody had, well, what about this idea? What about this idea? What about this idea? And all kind of came together with that, like that. Like Before You Go, it was like Pulley had an idea, and then he just like kind of sat down, wrote it, tracked it, and it was just perfect, start to finish. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song.
Absolutely. I I have to admit, like, Drag Me Out is probably my favorite because of just how in your face it is. I just like how like heavy that one is. That's a great one.
Yeah, we're getting ready to
That
play
was a
that
lot of
on,
fun.
we're getting ready to play that live for the first time on these
Okay.
May shows, and I am
There have been a few
stoked.
points where I've kind of gotten a little stuck, but
Cool.
otherwise,
Yeah, you're coming through there, Gib.
Sorry, sharing an office, trying to figure that out.
It's okay. It was only that one spot. That's all right. And
I turned the gain down a little, so hopefully that helped.
no worries. It just came out of nowhere. I was like, "Who's that? Who's that? Who got?"
You got a surprise
So-
guest.
So you guys have a really busy May that I've saw. You guys have the EP release coming out. You guys are heading on the tour with Magnolia Park, which crazy. Congratulations. That's so
Thank you
sick.
so much. I'm so stoked.
Do you guys have like any other tour plans for the rest of the year that you guys could tell us about?
So, yeah, I mean, by the time this is out, we will have announced a short little June run with our buds in Hollow Front, and If Not For Me.
Nice.
We're going to be, it's just a quick little Midwest thing to get us to Capulet Fest in Connecticut.
Okay.
But those are some of our friends that we've had for a long time, and Hollow Front's killing it. If Not For Me is killing it. So it's cool to kind of clump us all together and send us out east. So we've got that. We've also got in May, we have, in addition to the Magnolia Park shows, we have a show with Crown the Empire. We have a one-off show with Imminence, and then we've got like a cool little headliner with Revenant and Two Sides of Me as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a stacked May for y'all.
Yeah, I am stoked, especially for those support shows are going to be sick.
Is there
yeah.
anyone else on the Magnolia Park tour with you guys, or is it just like locals and then Mag Park and you?
To my knowledge, as far as the run, it's just us two, but then there'll be locals every night.
Right on. Awesome. Yeah, big fan of Magnolia Park. They do great things.
They're awesome. They're so good.
Totally. So I was listening through, like, one of the things I love to do, especially on the day of, to like give myself a refresher. I like to try and go through as much of the discography of the artists we're interviewing as possible. So in your like opinion, how, since forming in 2015, how would you say Artress has changed over the years?
Or do you want to take that one?
Oh man, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
I agree.
I think like and I mean like you'll see this with pretty much every band ever, right? It's like the maturity that
Mhm.
like happens with the music. Like starting out is like very, you know, kind of almost clueless as to like what you're doing. You're just like, hey, we're dudes, we want to be in a rock band, we want to make some songs, want to play some shows. And
Yeah.
starting out as like that kind of like local hero sort of like aspect where like that's your pool. Is like you want to be, playing with your friends, doing shows, maybe bounce around out of state once in a while. And then yeah, like 2015, I wasn't in the band in 2015. I joined up in 2018.
Mhm.
That was right around when they dropped Bleed for this. And I was just like, dude, this is sick. And like yeah, I don't know. I've been friends with Pulley and Ben for a long time. And so it was just one of those things where stars align and it kind of worked out. And they're like, hey man, like you can scream, you can play bass. Like, do you wanna join? And I'm just like, yeah, why not? So it went around from like kind of kicking the ball around in the court to being like, you know what, we could actually just do this. This could be a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it wasn't, I don't think we were, any of us were really intending, you always have like that lofty dream, like, yeah, it'd be cool to like be touring around the world. But I mean, that's kind of like, that sounds ridiculous, when you're first
Right.
starting out. But like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did a couple shows out of state? Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? We'll figure out how to do that. And so we got to put our money together, bought a van. That van died within like 5 shows. It was terrible. It was so bad. But yeah, just kind of figuring out that, and it just kept building. It just kept building. We just kept figuring out like more stuff we want to do. Hey, let's go and work on some more songs. Okay, so let's go and do that. And then we really started putting our small peanut-sized brains together when it started coming down to new normal. And the writing for that was fun. That was fun. I really loved working on those songs specifically, because it just felt like that was the first time the band was like, what if we did something that wasn't just, throwing darts at a wall? And we just like, we came up with a concept, we came up with a sound, we came up with a story. What do you actually want to say? You know what I mean?
Right.
And we had settled on New Normal as just like this like really cool concept, as this cool idea. And then our friend Gabe from the band Careful Gaze, he wrote this for Shallow.
Love Gabe.
He wrote,
Love Gabe.
yeah, super wonderful human being. And
Absolutely.
so he put that line in Shallow. My new normal is my throat closing over, whisper of rest easy at your wake. And we were just like, okay, wow, this has got to be like the coolest thing ever. And we dropped it right as COVID hit.
Yeah.
And we were just like, at that point, people were just kind of like, oh, okay, everybody stay inside for 2 weeks. They'll be fine. And then it just kept going. And we're like, damn, okay, maybe this actually is the new normal. So, and just kind of figuring out what to do in between like being locked down and being, concerned, are you even gonna, like, is the world gonna be on fire? Are people like, people have died from this? Like, what's gonna happen? And going from that to being like, what do we do? Do we just kind of close up shop until, like the storm clears? Do we keep writing? Do we, what's gonna happen? And so like going back to write more songs, and I think that's about when we started working on songs like Blanket Fort and Bitter, is like right on the cusp of like coming out of COVID. And yeah, that was just it was such an interesting and scary period of time, where it's just like you didn't really have an opportunity to just be so worried about the music business so much as just being like, what are you gonna do in this dark time when there's so much uncertainty, where you have no idea what's gonna happen? And are you just gonna not do anything and be quiet and just, because I mean, a lot of bands fell apart.
Oh yeah.
A lot of bands fell apart during COVID. And I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't play shows, you can't talk to anybody, you can't really go into studios and stuff like that. And so we got very fortunate that we have such good friends in Nick and John. We were all, we were all vaccinated. We were all made sure that everything was safe. We were all tested before we went in to the studio to make sure that we're safe to do this.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just like coming out of COVID, where we're releasing new music, and we had been able to gain some traction online through like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and being able to just like bring that out into like the new normal of the world, the new way that things are being done. That's, I think that's where like the rubber really started meeting the road. We're like, hey, we want to tour full time, and we really want to make this like our life, and like it's music becoming a lifestyle instead of just being like you're dudes in a band who make music. It's like you're musicians, and that is your job, is to like make this art that so many people have connected to, and you need to keep telling the story. Like you started with New Normal, now what's next? And
Mhm.
so that's a very long answer to the question. Like,
No,
yeah, it's just watching the story of this band progress since 2015 when I first saw my buddies like playing in this project to like where we are now. It's been a wild thing, but it's mostly the maturity aspect of just being like from dudes who didn't know what they wanted to do aside from play music and do some shows to being like, this is this band, this is this sound. We have these people who really want to see this band perform, hear the music, be part of the community. It's been a
right.
wild experience.
So, like, one of the things I was like even thinking about was just like, so you mentioned like, Blanket Fort, as the evolution of the band. It's like when you first were starting, I was like very heavy, like there was singing and stuff, but like once you hit Blanket Fort, it was like, oh, we really like fucking pop music too, and you like really added that into it. So where did that evolution like really come into play? Where who was like, yo, I got an idea, let's do it this way?
That honestly came majority of that one kind of came from like Ben and Pulley. Ben's like a big uh 2010s emo pop punk fan. Like he is the saddest boy out of all of us. uh as is his right, as he should be. But Pulley loves like pop structure and pop music in general. Like he loves a good vibe. You know what I mean?
But he's got the
Uh,
fucking voice of an angel.
Oh, he does. He does. He's a very pretty voice. And it's just like not using that has always been just kind of a shame. And so it's like stepping away from doing so much screaming or being like, hey, Porter, like, you can do the screaming stuff, like save your voice, Ollie, to do like your pretty little vocal runs and like all that gorgeous stuff that you do.
Yeah, you hit that
That's been
diva.
kind of like compromise. Yeah, yeah. Let him, let him pop.
Let him pop.
Yeah. Let the boy pop.
Accurate.
So
And that's what he
what
did.
have been some of your like personal favorite like moments while being in archers, sorry.
While
Like
being
I know
an
y'all
archer.
while being an archer.
I'll be. Oh man, yeah, that one doesn't get old.
No.
It's literally every show. So do you guys like do archery? And I'm like,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
bet.
man. What? Yeah, but we keep missing the target.
Nice.
Yeah, we tried being actual archers and it didn't work. So we were like, we might as well give this band thing a try because this isn't working.
So you know what though? That's I when I was younger, I took archery lessons. But here's the reason why though. I would like to say I'm kind of a cinephile. I really fucking love movies, and I always have. And once Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves came out, all I wanted to be was a motherfucking archer, man. I was like, Dad, sign me up for archery lessons so I can save damsels and give poor people money.
Yeah.
And here I am. Look what I've
And here you are.
accomplished.
Doing just that.
Doing just that with my bows and my quivers.
I mean, it's about making a point, right?
Right. Yeah. I was gonna be that ass, like one of those assholes and like assholes. Like, so if you were an archer which archer would you pick? And
Hawkeye.
why is it Green Arrow? But yeah, I didn't. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
but now I did, I guess. But
Well,
You
the
asked the
answer to your
question, y'all gotta
question-
answer it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the answer to your question would be Hawkeye. And
Yeah.
then the answer to your question, that we kind of derailed on, I'm gonna get back on here.
You get us back.
One of my favorite moments in the band, because I've been around the Archers camp for a long time, but I've been an official member now for about 2 years.
Okay.
And I think my favorite moment in this band so far is we were lucky enough to play Louder Than Life the last 2 years. That was
Mhm.
strictly based off fan voting. So it's like our fans
sick.
gave us this insane show 2 years in a row. And last year, we got a lot more amenities and we ended up having some like guest list spots. And so I got to bring like some of my best friends out. I got to bring my parents out. The guys all brought their wives and stuff out. And so it was really cool to have everybody there because it's easily the largest crowd we've ever played in front of. I think we had like 5,000 people in front of us that day on
That's
this like
awesome.
tiny side stage, the same time as Rain City Drive. And like, I'm sorry, I'm in the band, but if I had the choice between us or Rain City Drive, I'd be watching Rain City Drive, no questions asked. But it was really cool, man. It was like both my parents were up in the front row. I could see some of my friends. Um, it was cool. It was very like validating for everybody in my personal life to see me do the thing that I've been talking about for so long. And
Right.
it's gonna be really hard to top that one for sure.
Yeah, that
Totally.
is the first time I've been pulled over a barricade and thrown into the pit. Yeah, that's not what I was planning to have happen, but I got up on the railing because I was just, I was on
Doing your
cloud
thing.
nine and just watching
Yeah.
all these people like going crazy, and I'm like, wow, it's like getting up on the barricade and someone's like, get him in the pit, and I'm like, oh, you're talking about me. And then they just pulled me over.
Yeah, I watching that from the drum riser, he was like jamming and then he like leaned over and was just gone. Like the crowd literally swallowed him. And he was like, I legitimately could not see him for a solid 30 seconds. And what sucks is DWP had like camera guys at our set the entire time. And some dude was filming right there. And none of us have seen that footage anywhere. And I'm like
Oh
dying
man.
to see it because he just gets like sucked up and he's gone.
Like were you still able to be like to play while you were sucked in there? Or did it just start turning into like
Sort of. It did for a second, just because like I got dogpiled. Like, like it's like I get pulled in about like 7 or 8 people deep, and then I get dropped, and I'm like, okay, sick, and then just human flesh covered my body, everything. Like the sun
Yeah.
was gone, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, so this is a new thing.
So
And then
this is how I die. Okay.
yeah, and then I could hear I think I heard Paulie being like, hey Porter, are you good? And then somebody yanked out the cord to my in-ears. And
Oh
so like and those are isolation in-ears. And so like it
yeah.
was completely like muffled, and all I could hear was just the pounding of like fists hitting flesh.
Jesus.
That's all I could hear, just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh God. But I can still, like I'm close enough to the stage so I can still feel like the vibrations of Grayson's kick drum. So I'm like, all right, well, I know where I'm at in the song. So I'm just gonna keep going and see what happens. And then somebody started throwing bodies left and right, like get off of the bass, get off of Let Him Play. And so like I finally came up for air, like I crested the wave like a majestic whale.
I'm pretty sure Foley
Yeah,
literally was like, "Can we have our player back, please?"
yeah.
And then
He's like, if he's still alive, can you bring him back to the stage? Yeah,
That's
that
a
was
great fucking
insane.
story.
That was
That's awesome.
insane.
I'll
Yeah.
bet. That's wild. That's wild. So you had mentioned, you kind of brought this up a little bit earlier, but in other interviews that I've like looked at, you talked about TikTok and how it really helped the band break through a bit. So since TikTok has changed quite a bit over the past few years, do you still feel that it is as strong of a promotional tool as it was a few years back?
Um, yes. The only difference now that I've noticed is that like When I first got onto TikTok, in like 2020-ish,
Yeah.
um, it was like people were becoming borderline celebrities overnight.
Yeah.
Like they'd have a
Yeah.
couple of videos go viral, and if they were consistent or they followed like their pattern or their algorithm or they were really good at figuring out their niche,
Yeah.
right? Like they could maintain that sort of virality. And that's why you
Mhm.
had like, all these huge TikTokers. You got like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million followers,
Yeah.
just astronomical numbers. Um, which I mean, like a million of anything just blows my mind. I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's no way.
Right.
But yes, like in that time frame, it was a lot more. That platform was a lot more aggressive. If it
Yes.
it was almost like it was cherry picking people to be like, if you've got that it factor or that thing that we want to see more of, we're gonna push the living crap out of your content, and we're gonna just like blow these accounts up. And it was just very random, and it was like almost anybody could post a video, and you were almost guaranteed at least one video to hit a couple million views.
Yeah, I know. Like even like I felt, especially a few years ago, like back in 2020, 21, even part of 22, like everybody had an opportunity to go viral. It could be like
Yeah.
anyone could. And if you posted enough videos, you would go viral, at least semi-viral.
Yeah. Or you'd have a video pop, and like
Right.
the way I look at a video now, if a video pops, in my opinion, that's anywhere between 500,000 to 1 million views. That's what I look at, like a video as popped. You've popped off if you're looking between 5 and 10 million views. Like the status for that is like it's so different from when it first started. If you had a video pop, like your video was hitting between 5 and 10 million views. Like that was like considered, yeah, that's a normal pop off. Like now it's so unusual to have
Yeah.
videos like blow to like go that astronomical. And it's usually these very weird fringe things. Like somebody put this video of a bowl of strawberries, and they were very nice looking strawberries, by the way.
Sure.
But it was a bowl of strawberries covered in chocolate syrup, and it was just like this quick panning movement thing. And I think it had 38 million likes. So you're talking a couple 100 million views for strawberries in a bowl.
Mhm.
And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the world when I got like one of our videos hit like 100,000. I was like, oh fuck yeah, like that's it. Here we go. I'm the best thing
Yeah,
ever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I remember the first time I hit a video that did, the first video that like I felt was just like absolutely enormous for me. And I got very, very fortunate. It was like video like 3 or 4 that I had
Yeah.
ever posted. And it was like that video got 75 to 100,000 views over the course of a couple days. Or
Yeah.
like a day. It jumped up to like 75,000. By the end, it was like 200,000 views. And I was just like over the moon. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, we're famous. And coming to realize that like, no, you're thinking in like 2015 Facebook terms. Like
Right.
if you had a video that did like 100,000 views, and you're just like, oh my God, your band's about to be absolutely enormous. And it's like the scope of like what short form content means is
Right.
so different from like
Right.
what it was back then. It's insane. So yeah, now I would have to say it's a lot harder to do a thing that's gonna pop off.
Mhm.
But that being said, I've seen this personally. Just like the aggression for TikTok is still there. So if you are consistent promoting like your music on TikTok, I don't care if it's uh 500 views or 500,000 views. Like that matters. It matters a lot, and it's done a lot to make like a huge difference for bands, especially like bands like us. Like we wouldn't have
Right.
gotten like the kind of breaks that we've had if it wasn't for this weird little app, of
Right.
all things.
Yeah, I
This
mean
was like, and so many bands have like been able to get their shot because of TikTok.
right.
So I
Yeah, I
think
totally agree.
it's still a very pertinent and valuable tool. It's just you've got to be you've got to treat TikTok different than you treat Instagram. Instagram
Yep.
doesn't really do like blow up videos. It's very much a slow burn sort of
Mhm.
like platform where it's like you'll post a video and it's like, yeah, you got 10,000 views in this video, but over the next couple of days, it's up to like 60 or 70,000 views. And it's like a slow momentum
Well,
thing.
and also with like stuff like Instagram, if you're getting those views, a lot of times you're going to get the new like followers, and those followers on Instagram more so will like actually visit your page again, to where TikTok is all about the For You page. Like the only way that
Yeah.
person's going to see you again is if you show up on their For You page. They can follow you all they want, but
Yeah.
ain't no motherfucker going to their followers page.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. It's very unusual. Like when people follow, yeah, that's really the point is like you can have somebody follow you on TikTok and they might see a couple of your videos, but
Mhm.
unless they're actively going back to your page, it's just kind of like they'll see a couple of your things and then that'll be it. And they'll either forget about you or they'll remember you once you pop back up on their For You page versus Instagram. You follow them, you're gonna see them on your feed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like that's the cool part about Instagram, and that's why I think like both of those platforms are very valuable. So if you're gonna do
Totally.
one, don't forsake the other.
Oh yeah, like I think especially at the point to where all social media is at, there's a place for everything. I mean, there's like it depends. If you're looking for a certain demographic, Facebook is still there, and there is a
Oh yeah,
demographic there. You don't
oh
like,
yeah,
all social media is unfortunately for the person having to be in charge of like posting on everything, it's all important. There's each social media has its own demographic, and different people are going to see it on different things. Like you're not going to typically hit the same person on all of them.
yeah, yeah. That's actually that's a great point. And I was talking to a buddy about it because he's like, honestly, he's probably one of the most intense people I've ever met in my life. Like the dude is relentless with how he like treats social media,
Right.
and he'll post like he's got Snapchat Spotlight, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook, TikTok, like you name it, dude's posting on it. And
Yeah.
he's like, well, think about it. If you get 5,000 views here, 5,000 views there, 5,000 views there, but 100 views here, 100,000 views here, like it just depends on what platform this thing pops off on. And it's
Right.
like if you got more options to like post on, there's just more options for this thing to take off. Because if
Right.
Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook don't like it, but YouTube loves it,
Oh yeah.
that's still a hit video. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
And so
and
it's
like it's
also yeah,
yeah, and like even what we're saying is like the one person watching TikTok is probably not the person watching, yeah, YouTube Shorts. Like the person watching YouTube Shorts isn't watching Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels, or they're each person just has their own preferences.
yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, definitely. And it's like so the short answer to that question is like I think TikTok is still worth it,
Oh,
but
totes.
like I think bands just approach it wrong by and large because like they want to treat it as like what we did in exactly like 2015 Facebook. Hey,
Right.
look at my music. Hey, look at my band. This is cool. You should check it out. And it's like that's not enough for people to like be interested in what you're doing because they can doom scroll for an hour and in like 3 seconds you got to make an impression. They got to want to
Yep.
watch the rest of that video. And it's like that's if you've got a 30-second video, you got to do something to make people want to watch a whole 30 seconds out of your first three. And
Yep.
so and that's not even guaranteed to work. You know, like
No.
there's this band called Silly Goose, and
Love them.
Love them.
yeah,
Who's
crazy
so sick?
hardcore band.
Love
Dude,
them
they're
so
so
much.
sick. They're so sick, and their
Yeah.
thing was like setting up in a subway.
Dude,
It's just like
everything they do
that's
is fucking
crazy.
genius. Everything they
Yeah.
do is genius. Their whole like the whole fact that they like just made a whole like tour out of touring outside of venues is fucking genius. Because look where it's got them. Like they were at
Oh
first,
yeah.
I'm sure they started with nobody and nothing, but now people will show up at like a Spirit Box concert to stand outside to watch fucking Silly Goose.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm sure there are industry people who probably frown on that, but I'm like,
Who
dude,
cares?
it's metal, bro. Like, relax. It's
Oh
part of the scene. It's part of the scene. It's part of the attitude of that music. You know what I mean? Very anti-establishment, very against like the normal way things need to be done. And so it's just like, dude, let them rock, bro. Like
yeah.
they crush live. Super fun band. You know, like
But when they get
yeah.
arrested for it, there's nothing more fucking punk rock and metal than that.
Oh, facts. Oh, facts. I'm just like, yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, I love it.
So your very long-winded educational answer for that last question.
I'm so sorry.
No.
Dude,
It was great.
it's
You
not
dropped
like I didn't
knowledge.
partake in a lot of that.
No,
Make it
but you
longer.
you dropped the knowledge, you dropped the facts. And
Oh yeah.
this next question, we're about to ask you to drop some more knowledge because we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, we would like for you to give our listeners a piece of advice that you wish you knew now that you knew when you were first starting your journey.
Now you know now that you wish
That you know, yeah,
you wish
what
you
you
knew
know
when you were
now.
first starting.
Yeah. Sorry.
Um, it's not that deep. Relax.
I like it.
You know, like you get into your head so much about like, you know, I want the band to accomplish this next year or the next 5 months or the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And, you know, like really what your job per being a musician, write the best damn music you can write. Write the best music. If you have a single fan, somebody who loves your music, your job as an entertainer is to write music so that that person can enjoy more of it. That is what your job is. The shows will happen. The big tours will happen. Your dream management team, your dream booking agent, whatever you want, you know, whatever your goals are, that will happen. Consistency is key.
Mm-hmm.
Relax, you know, let it go. It's not that deep. You just got to write cool music.
And put it out. Everybody gets so caught up in the release schedule now. Just put your shit out. I
Just
remember
drop it.
speaking there was TikTok where people were like, just put your dick out. Everybody's so concerned with like teasing it on TikTok, get that clip that takes off. It's like, well, your shit's gonna take off if you just keep putting it out. Do you need to be organized with it? Yes. Do you need to market it? Yes. But like sitting and stressing because you don't have this asset or you don't have this or we didn't do a video for this. It's like, dude, just put it out. We were a culprit of that for so long. And it wasn't until we got a pretty crucial member of our team being like, put your damn music out. Drag Me Out and Before You Go, we've had since last year.
Yeah.
It's coming out now. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't need all these shiny things. Get a lot of quality short form content, put the damn song out, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. Like he said, consistency really is key in this day and age. And I think so many bands, because I mean, I was the same way. You want to do it right, and you want to make sure that you're not being lazy or cutting any corners, but at the same time, put it out. People can't become a fan of your band if nothing to become a fan of. You know what I mean?
Well, and especially along the lines of with that, what happened, especially when artists were starting to like really use TikTok as a promotional tool, they were only writing like a part of a song. They would write just a bit, and then people would be like, "Oh, this is fucking sick," and then go for it, and then there's nothing there. You
Right.
can't find it anywhere. It's not there, and like
That is my biggest pet peeve when I see, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
when I see a clip of a song on TikTok and I'm like, this is badass. And I go and I try to find it and there's not even a release date. I'm like, I automatically don't care anymore. This could be the best song on planet Earth and I don't care because it's one, not out, or two, I don't know when it's coming out. You know what I mean? It's like by the time it's out, I'm already gonna forget and I'm not gonna remember to, save it or add it to my playlist or whatever. It's like, just put the damn song out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I've actually like I mean I've seen it work in both cases, like people wanting to build hype. And like we've done it both ways.
Right.
Honestly, like we've done it both ways where it's like we spent I think the longest we spent was we spent a couple of weeks promoting a song and trying to build the hype, you know what I mean? And it's like it never really like hit, you know what I mean? For some artists, it works really well like that. It works
Yeah.
really well to be like, but they've either also got like a long history of releasing music consistently,
Mhm.
and that's the big thing. And so like they can do that where they can be like, yeah, dude, I've got 500,000 monthly listeners, and I'm telling people, hey, there's gonna be a new song in 3 weeks, and people are like, in 3 weeks, I don't want to wait that long. And then they, drop a teaser here and there, and they start like drumming up the hype, and then the big crescendo, the music drops, and
Right.
everyone's like, oh my god. But it's like, especially if you're a smaller band, you don't have that kind of time to waste, like
Right.
prancing around and doing like all these like big fancy formalities. And I know that like the drama kid, the theater kid in you probably wants to do that.
Mhm.
Let it go. Let it go. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
that deep. Right now, it's not that deep. Put your
right.
music out.
Especially if you don't have a catalog behind you. If you're releasing like your first few songs and all you're doing is posting teasers for months, like you're not giving them anything to go find. Like there's nothing there.
Yeah. And actually, I saw that with a couple of on TikTok. I saw that with a couple of shows where they're just like, this show is going to be like so slept on or like whatever. Like, I can't wait for this thing. And they're like, the comments like, yeah, dude, couldn't wait for it either. Then I realized this thing isn't even out yet. So like now I'm pissed because I'm like, wow, the animation for that looked really cool, or
Yeah.
like the story for this looked really cool, not even out. So like now I'm upset because I really wanted to see this and it's not even out. I can't even go check it out. And so it's like really the name of the game is if I could honestly more than anything go back and kind of like smack some sense into myself, I would just be like, you need to push harder to get your butt in the studio, write some more music. Just start writing more music. And like I've been standing by that for a long time with just being like the name of the game. And this also follows up with another thing that the same friend that I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier, name's Nathan James, one of the hardest working people I've ever met. And he's like, if you're gonna fail at something, fail fast. Move on to the next
Fail
thing.
hard.
Fail hard, fail fast. Be done with it. Drop it, move on. Go. So you put out this song, you spent a couple of weeks promoting it, nothing really clicked. Well, that's okay because song number 2 is another 2 weeks right behind it. Boom. If you're gonna fail at something, if it's gonna quote unquote fail, and it's not, because music is like compound interest, right? You put out this song and it does this well. But with the next song, it might do the same, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, but it all trickles down. And it's like the more you keep releasing music, the better it's going to perform, the more people you're going to get attention to,
Totally. Absolutely.
But yeah.
And
But that's to answer Gibby. I was just like, consistency is key. Relax. It's not that deep. Put out the song.
Absolutely. And with that like huge chunk of knowledge We're going to go on a quick break and we'll be right back with our next segment. What's up, friends? We're super stoked to tell you that we just partnered with GFUEL. And let me tell you, there is no more pop punk beverage on the market right now than GFUEL. GFUEL keeps you energized, focused, and hydrated. If you go to gfuel.com right now and use code UNSIGNEDPOPPUNK, you're going to save 20% off your entire order. You can get it in the tub form and have 40 freaking servings of flavors like Rick and Morty's Unstable Portal Fluid, which is a delicious strawberry limeade, or get something in the can form like Sonic's Peach Rings or Crash Bandicoot's Wumpa Fruit. Go to gfuel.com and check it out for yourself. Let us know what your favorite flavor is. And once again, don't forget to use our code UNSIGNEDPOPPUNK to save 20%. It's a heck of a deal, man.
And we're back. Thanks so much for sticking around, guys. We're hopping into our next segment, the food for thought segment.
Oh yeah, this is when Bear was initially doing this with me, we started out with the obscure questions segment. That was the first post music talk, and then it ended up almost always being about food. And so we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just make it just a food for thought segment. We'll just ask questions about food and somehow like make it work in this area. So with that being said, since Archer's is from Madison, or originally at least from Madison, Madison is known for having some of the best craft beer and the best cheese curds. So with that being said, where would you recommend someone who's never been to Madison to go experience the best of the best?
Culver's.
Oh man. But you
I'm from
can't get
Indianapolis,
beer
clearly, so
you can't get beer at Culver's.
You can't get beer at Culver's.
Which is a shame and also
Well-
unconstitutional to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I don't live in
being
Wisconsin,
from Wisconsin, you'd think at least Wisconsin Culver's would probably have beer.
That's what I'm saying. It's
One's all
like it's an
him.
insult to everything that we believe in out here.
True, fair. So other than Culver's, where would you say are some of the best places you could get craft beer? Or it doesn't have to be the same place. Just, where am I going?
Yeah. For me, one of my favorite places in Madison. Oh my God, I haven't been there in forever. I gotta go back. Oh shoot, what is it called? Is it called Brass Nickel? That sounds like it should
Glass
be a bar.
nickel? Is it glass nickel?
Nickel. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
glass
dude.
nickel.
Yeah, that place is sick.
Yeah, well, Gibby lived around that area as well too. So you should have been right on this, Gibby.
To be fair, I was napping like the entire day before this interview. We cooked food, ran some errands, and I was like, okay, bedtime. And I saw all the texts like, hey, if you have some food for thought questions, you can add them in. I was like, cool.
Cool. I won't.
I went to sleep.
Yeah.
If you're visiting Wisconsin, you need to try Spotted Cow. That is like the beer in Wisconsin. And you
Okay.
gotta try fried cheese curds. You can honestly, you throw a rock, you will find fried cheese curds. Everywhere sells them. Even Quick Trip sells them.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, cheese curds are pretty easy to find.
Yeah, Midwest is built off of beer and cheese curds.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you guys had a Tipsy Cow before? The restaurant? It's like downtown, like right on the square.
Yeah.
Like right off the Capitol. They use Spotted Cow batter for their cheese curds.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. And it's so good.
It's literally you're just begging for diabetes. It's like let's take dairy, deep fry it, batter it in beer, and then give you a beer with this confection
Mhm.
It's just it's
There's
so
an
bad for you, but it's so good.
there's an awesome burger joint like up here in Duluth, and it's called Gronk's, and they have like my favorite burger that they have there. It's just one giant fucking cheese curd on the burger. Like it's not a cheeseburger. It's a cheese curd burger, and boy, oh boy, is that
Oh
tasty.
man. Oh, actually something I had that was incredible. This was in Green Bay, and
Okay.
it was a peanut butter and jelly
Yep.
burger.
I've had that. Not there, but I've had one, and it's great.
Oh my God, dude! Like that was good. That was
Seriously,
real. I was not anticipating it. I was not anticipating it to be that good, and it was that good.
for anyone that's never even thought of trying it, a peanut butter bacon burger is a
Mhm.
fucking game changer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been to that place you were talking about, but there's a place. I live in Indy, and there's a place north of Indy called Ford's Garage that has a fucking killer peanut butter and bacon burger. There's also a bar that has really good peanut butter and jelly wings. Fire.
Okay.
Peanut butter and jelly wings.
Yeah, they make like it's not even like necessarily peanut butter and jelly. They make their own sauce that includes
Sure.
both. So it just
Okay.
looks like another wing sauce, but it's fucking incredible. And their boneless wings are basically just a whole chicken breast sliced horizontally, and it's awesome. It's so sick.
So, I mean, I'd fuck with that. I'd fuck with that for sure.
All right. So Grayson, this I threw this in there just for you. What is your
Oh,
go-to Culver's order?
what's funny is I have not eaten yet, so I was already thinking about going to Culver's after this. So all prepared. I'm gonna do a build your own, sometimes double, sometimes single. It depends on how fancy I want to get. American cheese, bacon, grilled onions, ketchup, mayo, lettuce. I'm not a
Nice.
tomato. Tomatoes on there, I'll pout so hard.
Oh, you'll pout if there's tomatoes.
Yeah, I'll just
Oh,
complain.
buddy, you have not seen. I like to call them. I call them mantrum, right? The grown ass man throw you tantrum. I've seen this dude be hysteric over like somebody like he grabbed his Taco Bell order, right? It was in the bag. He
Very
didn't see what
passionate.
was in it.
Taco Bell.
He didn't see it. What was in it? He grabbed the bag. He was like, "This is off. I know they got my order wrong." And I'm like,
What?
"You're a food." I'm like, "You're a food slut. Like you got a problem." And he's like, "I know my order. I know how much it weighs." And he can tell by like the heft
It was
of
wrong. Yeah, and I can tell when they mess
This
things up. If
there's
they've got the
fucking
wrong-
tomatoes in this thing. I could
Yep.
feel the weight differential.
It literally happened today. I was distraught.
So when that happens, like, do you just pick it up, or are you just like, I need to speak to a manager?
Oh no,
Oh, no, I never make it.
he makes sure it's everybody's problem. He
Well,
makes
but
sure
everybody's
it's
like
everybody's problem.
it's everybody's problem internally. Get the employee's problem. I'll sit and I'll bitch about it until we leave, but I'll just like flick it off. But I'm gonna complain every step of the way. But never to anybody. I'm not like Karen about it. I'm just like really annoying to them because
Oh yeah, no, he's not mean to customer service at all. He would never. But like
No.
to us, oh my God, we're gonna hear about it for the rest of the night. And it's just like, I can't believe they did that to me. I was robbed.
Well, every time they mess up my order, it is personal. So act as though.
They specifically know you by name. They hate you. That's why they screwed up your order.
The Taco Bell by my work legitimately does know me by my name.
So fucking Tom, Tom, do you see it's fucking Grayson again? Fucking put some tomatoes on this shit, man. Let's just put a couple. Put a couple. He won't know.
To be fair, like I've seen like Grayson riled up in righteous indignation is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like his voice jumps up like an octave, and he's like, like he's extremely energetic and very detailed about like why everything is wrong, and the universe is spinning in his face, or more
He's just
like in his food. He's just like, this is ridiculous. I'm so upset.
he's just fucking jumping and pacing like he's about to go in the pit.
I've never seen somebody pace while sitting down, but yes.
I guess this dude's got it. He's something special over here.
I mean, come on, man. There's nothing worse than having like a craving. And you go and you get it, and then it's wrong. And you're like, this is the worst day of my life. I don't know what bad thing has happened, but this is by far the worst. All I wanted this chalupa supreme with no tomatoes on it to go down my throat faster than it took to order it. And when there's tomatoes on it, it gets in the way. It takes more time. Taco Bell just needs to get rid of tomatoes for me personally. If they actually cared about the money that I give them yearly, they would just take tomatoes off the menu.
This is the worst day of my life.
That okay, so like that, but like and caffeine. Yeah, that is the intensity.
It's always after we play a show, and for some reason, the time between us getting in the van and leaving and going to sleep is just maximum bullshit hours. And I'm just on one, and I'm ready to go, and I'm like, let's play another show, and but instead of playing a show, let's go through this drive-through. And then if it's wrong, I'm just like hyped off show energy, and I'm pissed that tomatoes exist, and it's just a bad combo.
Fair. That's fair. We have one more food for thought question, and I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna switch it up actually, because I'm going to like. I just love Gibby's version of it so much more because it's so much funnier to me. If Archer's was a potato, what kind of potato would it be?
Brownie potato, slightly dirty. That's like sprouting something.
It would be 4 separate versions. It would be a potato. You have a big potato. And then you're going to slice it into fourths. And then every one of those fourths is going to be something different because we cannot agree on a damn thing.
But Grayson's better not have any fucking tomatoes. I swear to God.
But it would be 4. One would have like a waffle fry. One would use like the heel for like a tiny little baked potato. One would be tater tots. One would be like they would not be the same because we can't agree on anything.
That's fair. It's a good thing there's so many different types of potatoes.
Potatoes are impressive.
Yeah.
You might be the loudest potato I've ever met in my life.
I'm just like sweating right now from laughing. Like you've exerted me.
Dude, honestly, like I lose calories on tour, and not just because we're starving, because that is a factor, but like just like the amount of times just hearing Grayson and Ben, the two of them just go off at each other because Ben's petty, but Grayson's loud and petty. And
nice.
So like the two of them just like bicker, and it's hysterical. You could make an entire comedy series off of just like filming the two of them just barking at each other, and occasionally Polly will chime in, say something offensive to both of them, and then they both get mad at him. And I don't even say anything. I just sit there, and it's like I have to lay down because I'm watching the daggers fly from the front to the back of the van.
It's painfully accurate.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's the greatest part of it. Honestly, it's right up there with playing the shows. Is I'm just as excited to get back into the van because it's gonna be some shit. Like from getting out of the venue to getting to whatever the next destination is, whether it's a truck stop or the next show, it's going to be ridiculous.
Well, that's awesome. At least you got some entertainment. You can keep each other awake during those long nights, those long drives.
I do. What's funny is I'll keep everybody awake, but the second I want to go to sleep, they all better shut their mouth.
They better shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Princess keeps everybody on a schedule.
We go to sleep at the same time.
Real quick, before we leave this, Grayson, do Do you like pizza?
I like pizza. Why?
Because there's
Hey, no, because tomato sauce is not the same thing as a tomato. I
Oh.
don't.
I was gonna
I
say
don't
like
like-
it's. Do you
that's
not like
not
No,
the
dude, I love all
tomatoes?
of the tomato products, but if they
Yeah.
are still, whether they're diced, sliced, whole, if I can still tell that you are a tomato, get out of my face.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
You
I
know
was
what?
just
I
gonna
forgive
ask
you.
because I
Or
was
you're
like,
pasteurized, or you're in some form of sauce. I'm down. Salsa,
Yeah.
great invention. Pico de gallo,
I'm with
get the fuck
Grayson.
out of here.
I'm with Grayson on all of this because I feel this so hard personally. Like, I fuck tomatoes, man. I fucking hate them. But tomato products are great. Like,
Fantastic.
pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce, ketchup. I enjoy all of that stuff. But if like, I'm not gonna sit and like freak out if like tomato, but I'll sit there and be like, you son of a bitch, God fucking damn it. Like, I'm gonna be really not pleased with it and flicking shit off my food, but that's about it.
It also sucks though, because tomatoes, like, dude, a fat ass like tomato slice on a burger looks so refreshing, but it
It
tastes
does.
It does.
like butt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
It's the the thing with tomatoes that I think is just again really throws me. It's like if you bite the tomato by itself, it's like a weird texture. Super not into that, and it's like the weird sort of like it's like an aftertaste, but it's happening as you eat the tomato, and it's like I don't enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's not good. It doesn't taste good.
Yeah. It's just, there's something about a fresh tomato. It's just, get it out of here. Use it for other things.
So, I mean, in my professional opinion, tomatoes were invented to
Specifically
like
pissed me off. I know it was.
facts, but also that guy that's in like the stocks, right? Ye old peasant times.
Yeah.
Like that's what tomatoes were invented for. You're supposed to hit that guy in the stock with tomatoes. Boo,
They're
you're
supposed to be
bad.
eaten.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
That and
tomatoes.
cabbage.
You throw them at people that you don't like. That's what tomatoes are for.
I support that. I support that. All right, that's the end of our food for thought segment. This one you guys may agree on, or this could also cause some more inner turmoil. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, this is our rapid fire questions segment.
Friendships will be tested. Rapid fire questions.
You're just gonna speak from the heart. You're gonna shoot from the hip. Whatever the first thing that comes to your mind, you just roll with it. All right. Monster Energy or Rockstar?
Monster.
Monster. Yeah.
Pop punk or emo?
What do you classify as emo?
Well, what do you classify emo as? That's the question. Because realistically, I created this because pop punk and emo are two fucking separate genres, right? It is,
yeah.
and it is to me. However, to the general public, pop punk is emo. So, what is your view?
Counterpoint. Emo is pop punk in halftime with eyeliner.
And that also is divisive amongst people. So
I'm gonna go with emo. Emo has something to do with being sad, and I like sad jams, so I'm gonna go emo.
All right.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I love emo music, but like, I'm thinking about all the pop punk bands that I really like Broadside, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to say emo because like all of my entire life is just built off of My Chemical Romance.
There you go. And but to you, they could be pop punk, like they are to me and lots of other people. But genres are wild, man, because it is just it's all opinions, what you think it is. So, But that's why we like the pop. I like the pop punk or emo because it's like, I don't. You tell me what you think it is. What do you
I
think?
just think about a band like Mayday Parade that could very well be either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Genres hurt my
Pat
brain.
doesn't agree, but sure.
Yeah, I don't agree at all. But that's okay.
Mayday Parade is an emo band.
Brother, there's that one song that is so pop punk. Don't remember what it's called, but like they're
No,
big.
I think Mayday Parade is nothing but pop punk.
What?
Yeah.
Next question. I'm scared.
I think they're pop punk or pop.
I'm
He
gonna have
said
to.
just pop.
We're gonna
pop
start a
punk
fight.
or just pop.
We're gonna fight.
See,
You'll win.
that's what I
We're gonna
love.
fight.
Rapid fire.
Is that
Let's
the next
go,
question?
baby. Yeah. Oh, there's lots of them.
Oh, pop all day.
Taylor Swift or John Mayer?
John Mayer.
Taylor Swift.
Eat
I don't listen
bag,
to
dude.
either like that, but Taylor Swift's cool.
Yeah, dude.
Break warfare, my guy.
Are you a Taylor like me? Taylor?
I know maybe. See, all the Taylor Swift songs that I know are like old radio Disney bangers. Other than that, I don't really. I can tell you I don't like John Mayer. So.
Okay, sure. John
Okay,
Mayer's
okay.
also
Have you actually given him a
fantastic.
try though?
So a buddy and I went to Nashville to see the Trinity of Terror tour, and all he played the entire 2-hour drive back in the middle of the night was John Mayer. But then he was like, "Well, don't fall asleep. I'm driving." And I was like, well,
No, motherfucker! You don't fall asleep. You're driving.
I was like, play music that has a fucking chorus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, skinny jeans or baggy pants?
Skinny jeans.
Skinny jeans.
Yeah. Disney Plus or Netflix?
Disney Plus has got all the MCU, brother.
It
I'm gonna have
does.
to say Disney Plus. Like Netflix has bombed lately.
Yeah. Okay. Stuffed crust or deep dish pizza?
Stuffed crust. I'm
Stuffed
fine.
crust.
Stuffed crust is sick.
Stuffed crust. 100%.
Stuffed crust is sick. I agree.
Deep dish can eat a gigantic eggplant.
Nice. Vans or Chuck Taylors?
Vans.
Vans. I do love Chucks, but no.
It's wherever your
No.
heart lies, and that's okay.
Yeah, dude, I have worn Vans like right up until like the last couple of years. Like that's the only thing I would ever wear was Vans. It's a comfy shoe.
I currently mostly wear my Chucks right now, but that's because that's where my Dr. Scholl's are in. So because let's be honest, neither shoe is fucking good for for like for your back.
You're paying a lot of money for something that doesn't even have padding, and I'm just like, I mean, it's a skater shoe. I get that, but I'm like, also, I've walked on Vans for an entire day at a festival, and it sucked. So that's why I wear boots.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last festivals that I've done, I either wore my Crocs or I wore my Doc Martens because I have to wear something that's not good. I'm not going to die after 8 hours.
Yeah.
We got one more left. The All-American Rejects or the Offspring?
All-American Rejects.
All-American Rejects.
Nice. There you go. You did it, and you're still together. You guys were like mostly a cohesive unit on this one.
Yeah, we're married.
Yeah, by the way, that's my wife.
Hello.
Yeah, nice. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he's only in it for my life insurance. He knows I'm gonna die in the next 5 years.
That's the best part
You
about
gotta
being younger than everybody else in the band is in like 5-10 years when they're all at home, I just get to call the shots by myself.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be in it for something, and you're in it
Yeah,
for the long haul.
No, what's hilarious is like out of all of us, he's the youngest out of all of us. He's still the oldest person.
100%.
You're the oldest man in this group with being the youngest.
Yeah, I I was that way for quite some time, but now Gibby just says I'm grandpa. So
Uh,
I don't know about grandpa, but I'm pretty sure you still get called daddy.
mm,
Mm.
yes, I daddy. All right, uh, but that's it. You finished the podcast. All that's left, just let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you, and what's next.
So our EP comes out in its entirety on May 10th. It is titled All That I Have Left. We are very proud of it. We have a bunch of exclusive merch and vinyl and CDs and wall flags and everything at archersmerch.com. You can follow us on Instagram at archersus. Twitter is the same. Facebook is Archers Official. And we will be on the road hopefully a lot soon. So come see us.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. This was fucking great.
Oh yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I got to learn more about how you are personally with tomatoes. So it makes me feel like
The worst.
like I'm not so crazy.
Yeah, they're quite literally the worst.
No, imagine being a vegetable, but you're still classified as a fruit. Like there's something wrong with you.
Tomatoes don't even know where they belong.
They
Yeah,
don't.
they don't even know. I'm just like, get out. You're not supposed to be here. You're a sauce and nothing more. Know your
You're
place.
sauce and
Just-
nothing more. Damn.
Hell yeah. Well, with that, we'll see you all next week, guys. Bye. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you so much to those of you who already are. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or anywhere else you stream your podcasts. If you're in the position to help us grow and like behind the scenes access and exclusive shows, head on over to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/unsignedpoppunk. Let us know in the comments who you'd like to see on the show and what other content you'd like to see. Thank you all so much.